When did you first go to sea?
1944.
1944. What
Yeah.
was your first ship then?
My first ship was the Iron Baron, the old Iron Baron.
Right, yeah.
Deck boy in the Baron, yeah.
And what would have been the size of the crew on her, do you remember?
Oh, I think, well, there was the Knight and the Baron and the Chieftain and the King.
Yeah.
They were all the same ships, you know. I suppose to be 42 in the crew. At least 42 to 45, the whole crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was deck boy in her
Yeah.
in 1944.
During
the war year, but that last year of the war.
Yeah, right.
The Second World War.
So what was your last ship then? When was that all?
Well, you know that.
I know, yeah.
It was an Australian escort.
Yeah.
When did we, 91, wasn't it? We backed in.
Yeah. Well, some of the things that I'm asking you,
Yeah.
you're gonna like that, but it's not for us. It's for the next, next generation.
That's right. Yeah.
So how old were you then when you went to sea?
15. I was
15.
15, left school. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Now this is a hard one, but what made you go to sea?
Well, what made me go to sea? Well, I lived in Carrington most of my life, and I was born in Carrington. And where I was born, the house is just next door to 8 and 9 cranes, and all I knew was ships. And with all the younger blokes around Carrington them days, or Newcastle, they went to sea.
Yeah.
When you left school.
How are you?
A couple of mates of mine.
Going to make a film, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Do you want to hold it?
Is it on?
Yeah.
So what were the conditions like then, Phil?
Well, when? In 1944?
When you started, yeah.
Well, the conditions then wasn't too good, was they? We didn't get much money. I think our wages were £6.10 a month, plus 50% war was bonus at the time. And we worked, you know, all day, and we had to work the deck boys. I was the deck boy in the ship. I suppose the same as that bloke on the other night was telling you. We had to work every morning. We done all the pegging, and all the decks was, well, the pegging is the housework, as you people know. But all, the decks was all wooden decks and had to be scrubbed with sand soap and scrub and brush it. There was no mops. And at 1 o'clock you had to come on deck and work on deck till 3 o'clock or 3:30. Then again at 3:30 you went and got the stores for the sailors, which the stores, them days they only give you a bit of fruit, 1 bit a day, and the chief steward used to issue it out. If there was 12 men, you'd get 12 bits of fruit and enough sugar for the tea and a billy can full of milk. And you worked then till 6 o'clock, till after tea, and you tidied up after tea, and that was the routine for the boys on them in them days. And then after I left the Iron Baron, I joined a hospital ship. And
what one was that, what?
The Wanganella.
Yeah.
I went to Sydney. I thought I'd get out of Newcastle and go to Sydney and see could I get something a bit bigger and a bit better, and I finished up and joined the Wanganella. Well, she was the bloody side harder. There was about double the crew, and you still had to do all the housework or the pegging. And there, well, the 2 boys lived on top, right next to the paint locker under folks' lead, and the ABs and people lived down below in the forecastle. And she run up the islands and brought prisoners of war back and that sort of thing. And when the war ended, I went back to Newcastle from Sydney, and I'd done most of my time in iron boats till the river boats come on the coast. And when we know when the river boats come on the Black and Tan, well, a lot of our blokes was in them for a long time. And I come to Melbourne in 1950, and I met my wife at the mission, and I got married, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in those times, like just after the war, things like that, how long would you be in port to load or to discharge?
Oh, well, then you could be in port for a month. See, you was always guaranteed a week, wasn't you? Other than the ships on the Black and Tan, well, that was a different kettle of fish. They were in and out in a few days, but general cargo ships, you could lay a month in port, which you did at times, you know.
That must have been hard on the pocket.
Well, where the money was tight, as you know, there was more comradeship around then, and if you had a quid and I didn't, well, we both had one, we'd go up the road and that sort of thing, but I don't think any of us went real bad, but even the conditions, working conditions on them ships were different, because you done 2 hours wheel, as you know, with the AB shooting, there was none of this iron mics or anything. You done 2 hours at the wheel and you stood up, and they wouldn't, no one talked to you. And today, as they say, they don't need to hour about, then they winch. But hey, there was no iron mics. I think the first ship that did come on the coast with the iron mic was the old Faulkner Park. I'm not quite sure they actually did, they either that or a gyro compass, and they only put it on of a night time, not of a daytime. Yeah, still had to work around the deck during the day, so the working conditions were much harder, and the ships were much harder. They all had a lot of derricks and gear, as you know. And,
what sort of basic items did they provide for you? You know, food wise and cleaning wise, that sort of stuff.
Oh well, it was most water straight, wasn't it? See, when I first went to sea as a lad, or right up to the war finished, and after the war, well, when you joined the ship, you went to the chief steward, and you got your linen, and some of them got their plate and knife and fork and that, and all the little cupboards on the bulkhead in the mess room when you kept your own in it. And when you left the ship, you had to get a ticket off him to give to the shipping master. Although if you didn't, you were docked 30 bob. But after a while, that all went by the wayside, and we gradually got crockery and things like that, you know, and mattress covers, and we never had any of that, no mattress covers, and the sheets. Some ships had blue sheets. They wouldn't give you white sheets, and the ship under a lot of pressure gave us a white one and a blue one. Then we eventually held ships up and got the proper linen, and linen every week, but you only got 1 towel a week, and I say the soap was limited. You got your own piece of soap, and that was it. On the bunk every linen day, which the boys had to dish out. But and all that, you know.
That's good, yeah.
But
Right.
things wasn't rosy as they are today. You just go and I say the food. Well, the chief steward used to dish out just enough for the day. You know, and the food was mostly water trade, and a lot of ships, and most of the ships early on was had 2 menus, like the POs, like the bosun and the chippy and the midship mob. They all got a little bit extra, you know. But apparently, luckily, that through the union, that all went by the wayside.
Yeah.
And the ships, most of the ships, well, I was in a lot of ships with open forecastles right up to 1950. See, those ships like I think Frankie Finch was in the Ullaloo. She right to the last, she had an open forecastle. And with the Ark Harbour and old ships like that, they were all old coal burners, because the ship owner owned the coal mines, didn't they? And they were all dirty, all filthy, rotten, dirty all the time, because with the coal dust and the smoke and all that. And there was a lot of fellas down below, greasers, and most of the older ships, I was in like the Kakarangi and Naruna and the old James Cooks, which was built in 1911. You lived aft in them, and most of the other ones you lived forward. You know, and everything was forward. It was even the iron boats. The chief that class was the Iron Baron, which I was in at that time. They were relatively new ships, you know, for the coastal ships.
Yeah.
And they had, on the sailor side, our side, they had 2, if I can remember right, 2 4-berth cabins and 1 6-berth cabin. So the accommodation wasn't flash. There was no such things as rec rooms as anything like that, and the mess room was usually just poked in a hole somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, in the centre castle or out the way.
Yeah, that's good, mate.
Yeah.
What about some of the characters that you met over the years?
Well,
tell us some of the characters you met.
You meet all sorts of characters. And I've always said, well, seaman is seaman. You can be blue and your enemies one day, and then they're great mates the next. See, it's all a matter of comradeship, which it was. There was more comradeship then than there ever was. I always maintained that I know it's wrong, but the single berth cabins and that, and the isolation and the later ships, we lost a lot of that. Because we used to get out in the hatch and all get together, and we most ships had a cricket team them days. They all used to play cricket. We'd go to a port, and you'd lay in port for a long time. The Sunday, you'd see some other ship, like you might be in a ship, and they'd put a barrow on, and away you'd go and play cricket somewhere. And all hands joined in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the bigger ships had had football teams, but most ships had a cricket team. They played cricket. And you all put a few bob in, you spend the time that sort of. But there was always a lot of comradeship.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as the latter years, see, as I said, I spent all my life on at sea.
Yeah.
I never was ashore. I never had any breaks ashore.
Yeah.
You know, all my life I was always on the coast. But it wasn't until the tri-boats come and ships like that we got the reasonably good conditions, you know, and more money sort of thing, and then money become an obsession to people. See, there's a lot of ships in the early days you didn't get any overtime. Adelaide Company never paid overtime. So you joined the ship and like the Beltana and the Uluru and the Barossa and the Bundle of Gear and ships like that, that was it. You just got, you know, they'd even lay in a minute after you used to get Sunday sailings them days. You know what I mean? Which you sail on Sunday, you got extra days pay.
Yeah.
But them ships used to wait till a minute past midnight on Sunday night, so it'll be Monday morning. You never got that day's pay. That's true.
Yeah.
And yet BHP always paid a bit extra, but they worked hard, and their ships was always in real good nick condition because they always paid a bit overtime. But the wages was nothing going to sea, and overtime become an obsession to people, and it was. You only joined the ship and said, how much overtime's in it? You know, then the riverboats come on the coast, they all went on the black and tan in the 50s. All these riverboats, they, you know, went on the black and tan, and they paid well, and, you know, they worked them to death.
Yeah.
See, I was in the River Clarence in 1946, I think. Not long after the war, I joined the River Clarence with Bucko. Well, she was chartered with the Australian Occupation Forces. And she was running to Japan, and that was the first time that I ever witnessed anything that I don't want to witness again. I went and had a look at that Hiroshima where that first atomic bomb went off, and it was just the same as the day it went off. There was nothing cleared up, and it's been in my mind ever since. I've always remembered it.
Yeah.
Before that I thought it was like all the young blokes, oh that's good, they've blown these people away, but then when you get to see what happened and think it could have happened here, you get a whole different opinion of these sort of things.
Yeah.
You know, and anyhow, that's what.
That sort of leads on to the next talk about what were some of the highs and the lows of your time at sea.
What do you mean, the highs and the lows?
The things that you remember, the good things you remember, the bad things, you know.
Oh, well, there wasn't a lot of bad things, John, but I remember a lot of good things, you know. We used to have a lot of good times, didn't we, together?
Yeah. Well, another way of putting it then, like hits and near misses, you know, almost accidents, ships that have gone up on the dirt or whatever.
Oh no, well, the only near miss I really had was during the war in the Iron Barren, as you say, was a ship just was head of us torpedoed, you know, and I was only a boy, I didn't understand much them days, but it was just luck that it was an American ship, a ship called the Walker, I think, just ahead of us, and it would have been us, and then that's only, they said, oh well, you took that for granted them days. And
whereabouts was that, on the east coast, was it?
That was going around Gabo, yeah. We were full of iron ore and she was light ship.
Yeah.
And she got hit, but we didn't, you know.
Yeah.
But it was all around Newcastle that the Iron Barren did, and my mother, you know, I was only a boy, was in a bit of a frantic condition. She was going mad and run up the Union. See, when I went to sea, you couldn't, it was hard to get into the Merchant Navy. It always was, it was hard. Well, my old man, my father was at sea, see, and he was away up north in a ship called the Hang Yang. She was your dad would know her, a ship called the Hang Yang. She was a Chinese thing that come down here from China when the war was on up there, and she put out an Australian crew. And she was up in New Guinea, went all in places, you know. Well, he come home from home and he just took me to the Union and said to the local Joe Gibbons, was the official in Newcastle, get him away to sea, and that was it. But that's the only, some boys waited, and they're still waiting probably.
Yeah.
It was hard to get away. But I was, and other times you say hard times, I was in that old Easby. We joined the ship, it was the Colac, she was an old collier, and they renamed her the Easby, and she was laying here in Melbourne. Well, we should never have manned her. Today you wouldn't have manned the ship. And they offered us a carrot, they give us £8 a month extra to man her. Hard land they called it them days, you know. So we manned her. What do you want to know? Rudder fell off her. The rudder, you know, the rudder brace.
Yeah.
Brace snapped.
Yeah.
And 5 or 6 days later, they towed her into to Sydney. Well, Elliot went mad. He said, "You should never a man, do you know that?" We said, "Well, we know that, but that's only missed." But
Yeah.
I ever had on ship. But I can recall a few cyclones what you've been in, and we all have. That's all. Eh?
What about, what were the stock work meetings like in them days?
Well, the stockroom meetings them days was good, and everyone went to the stockroom
How many
meetings.
do you reckon you'd get there?
You'd get 99%, because if you didn't go to the stockroom meeting, as the latter years went on, you were pulled into gear. And if you didn't go to the stockroom meeting, you usually got into trouble, you know. But most of the blokes went to the stockroom. We looked forward to the stockroom meeting. But it wasn't like today or later on. You had to be off the ship at 8 o'clock. You had a 7-bell breakfast, and you went to the stockroom meeting. And you turned to at 1 o'clock. You didn't have the afternoon off in the pub. See? As we did later on, you didn't go. You didn't if you didn't turn to in the afternoon, you were booked the day off. See?
Yeah.
Not just for not half a day.
What do you reckon, what sort of difference did the pickup and Schedule C and
Well, the pickup, my
things like
opinion,
that?
there's a pickup.
When the union took over the pickup, I mean.
Well, in the old days of the pickup, when you had to stand up for a job, if you fell out in another ship, and the mate knew you never got a job. I know blokes that stood up for job after job after job and couldn't get a job. We had to stand down to let them get a job. See? And when the roster system come in, all that changed. But I don't think the ship owner liked the roster system from the word go.
Yeah. What about the stories that we hear of the newspaper under the arm? And
Oh well, that was right. Especially in Sydney, see after the war when the passenger ships come back, that ship I was on, the Wanganella, well she went back on a passenger ship running ships like that, the Carl Penimbul and Manura and Manunda. Well, it was red hot then. See, I joined the Canimbla. Follow me? Well, in Melbourne you could always get a job in it because they never stayed. They only stayed one day. But Sydney and Fremantle as the terminal ports, and they'd stay there 5 days. Well, they were mostly them men, but you could go. I was in a pub there, and a bloke went in. I'm not going to mention his name because he was a good friend of mine. He went in, and the bloke said, "I bet he's aboard the ship tomorrow." Well, he was. See? And the Orangi, I stood for the Orangi in Sydney when she first picked up. It was a big passenger ship that was running to Frisco, to Canada, see? When Uni came, she just picked up after the war. Well, it was no good standing up because the jobs were all gone before you did. So the union said, righto, we'll give you free selection. Okay, free man to a job. So say there was 30 jobs that say only allowed so many to stand up. Follow me? But still, the blokes had a newspaper on their arm and a ticket in their pocket and all that sort of thing. It was well known around.
Yeah.
And the backhand of things, you know. But a lot. You could always get a job because a lot of ships they didn't want. So most of us got the jobs they didn't want.
Yeah.
Like Barosses and Bandoliers and things like that. As I said, the ships were heavy gear and all that. But that sort of thing went on. Of course it went on.
Yeah.
Well, see, it goes on today. It goes on today, apparently. I don't know. But I know it went on a few years ago. The ship owner would, I know for a fact, they say, well, I could have been involved, but I'm like, you could say, well, I'll wait till you get to the top of the roster sort of thing.
Yeah.
See? But very seldom. It's a pretty fair system, I reckon. But not the way it is now, is it? I don't know.
Now we're all company employed.
Yeah. Well, then it was. Well, I reckon when the union lost that grip on the manpower, they lost more than we lost conditions anywhere else.
Yeah, when Reef shafted us with the roster system, that was it.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, blokes today, they don't understand. As you said, I talked to blokes down here. They don't know what this went on.
No, that's
all
right.
old hat.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wayne tells me I've got to ask you a question about the White Lady of the Pacific.
Yeah. What about it? The big white lady was filled to
Tell us a bit about them, what the run was like and things like that.
As you say, they were the cream of the jobs then, wasn't they? And they were good jobs, naturally.
They were the tri-boats.
That's a tri-boat. So all you had to offer was your labour, and they were the best payers, the best bidders at the time. But there was always jobs in them too.
Yeah.
And a lot of blokes didn't like that run. They couldn't cop it. They couldn't cop the drift. And,
Tell us about the drift.
well, you could go to Nauru and you could drift for weeks. I drifted for 5 weeks. See?
And what was the reason for that, Bill?
Well, the westerly wind and the westerly weather come in and you can't load in the westerly wind. And one time I was up there And we started adrift, and a message come out that and being on that run for a long time, the wind was all right, and I said, there's something wrong here. There's definitely something wrong. If it's not this, and it was the Nauruans are on strike, not the Nauruans, the Gilbert Island boys are on strike. And they wouldn't send us anywhere else, because if Ocean Island could have went there and loaded, or Christmas Island, but they wouldn't, because they thought you'd say, we'd tell the boys there that your comrades are on strike on the other island, they'd go there. So other ships come in and they were leaving, see, then we jerried what was wrong. And we were there for 6 weeks. And no one knew nothing about it in Australia, because Freddie Watson and a few of the lads were on the other one, the Trieste, and they were tied up here and they wondered what was going on. They were having a ball going home every day and all this carry on. They never knew, no one knew, it was just all secret.
Kept secret, yeah.
Till the strike ended.
Yeah.
But the drift, a lot of us just couldn't cop it. They'll be up all night and, walking around. But the tri boats were good, they were good jobs. They were the first ships with single berth cabins.
Yeah.
See, when they come out, they're laminated bulkheads and single berth cabins, and oh, this is heaven, this is great.
Yeah.
But the tri-L, I thought, well, I reckon she was the pick of the bunch, naturally. Oh, they I think 9 years there.
Yeah.
How long were you based in it before?
About 9 years, I think, together. So I was only, yeah, I was. I only got a trip, I done a trip AB. So there was a big blue about the bosun's job. The bosun got put in jail here. A bloke called Chris Cook. He got put in jail, and no one would, a lot of them there, and I hadn't been on their ships before, and I knew the run, and no one come down and couldn't get on. They said, well, look, I should take the job. That's how I went bosun the ship. So I said, I'll give it a go for a trip and see what it's like, and because there were 16 new ABs walk up the gangway. And you get a bit of a fright when you see that sort of thing. It turned out real good, because they were good fellas. And
if you had 16 new ABs walk up the gangway, how many did you have in? Or how many in the crowd?
Well, there was 22 on deck.
Yeah.
There was 71 altogether.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was for the ship.
Yeah.
But it was stewards, and
Yeah.
they were overmanned, there was no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But at the times, we didn't think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they were good ships and good working conditions. But as the years went on, as the old dollar system comes in, the old money comes in again, like other ships on the coast were getting lots of overtime, and they were still only 2 and 3 hours, 3 hours a day. They kept at that,
Yeah.
But the conditions were pretty good. And well, naturally, they wouldn't have stayed good. Then I went to the Temple Hall, as you know, and I stayed there for the charter.
Yeah.
And I went to the escort. When I left the Temple Hall, we was in Newcastle, and I met Brennan in the street, and she was laid up then in dock, and I was only working by her. All the rest had gone, and they asked me when I stayed there till she was handed over to the ponds again. I said, all right, which I regretted, because she was there for about 3 or 4 weeks. I met Brennan, and Jackie Brennan said, well, I'm coming, I want to see you. I went to the union, went over a bit of a chin work about old times, and he said, well, what are you going to do now? The boss player. I said, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to Melbourne, I'm going to finish my leave, and I'm going to go on the roster. And that's it, which I did. And I joined the escort, and I stayed there. But I never jumped around a lot in the latter years, Couldn't certainly say, you got criticised a lot, but my conscience is pretty clear.
Yeah. That's pretty much all the questions, Hawk. You got anything that you want to add?
I can say, well, all the years I was at sea, I never regret it, and I've always been thankful for the union and what they've got for us. Even at the last, when we got there, got a few extra bob, they got our redundancy money, whatever you want to call it. The union, only for the union, we never would have got that. And only for the Seaman's Union, I got no crimes that would all be still living foreign in the ships, with their battles for the accommodation.
Yeah.
And I've got, and you say, it's a job which you miss, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
So it took me 2 years to settle in with my own family, with my wife and my family. It's different when your whole life changes, you do something for about 40 odd years, and you all of a sudden it stops, and you get up and you see the ship's in, and you're not there anymore.
Exactly. I know,
right?
yeah.
And it takes about 2 years to settle into the life. But, and I always go down here every day. Every day I'll take her down here, and we watch the ships come in and out still. Give some of the tugboat blokes some wave, all that,